After Germany invaded Poland in September 1939, sparking World War II, the Germans converted Auschwitz I, a former army barracks, to hold Polish political prisoners. The first prisoners, German criminals brought to the camp as functionaries, arrived in May 1940, and the first gassing of prisoners took place in Block 11 of Auschwitz I in September 1941. Auschwitz II went on to become a major site of the Nazis' final solution to the Jewish question. From early 1942 until late 1944, transport trains delivered Jews from all over German-occupied Europe to the gas camps' chambers. Of the estimated 1.3 million people sent to Auschwitz, at least 1.1 million died, around 90% of them Jews. Approximately 1 in 6 Jews killed in the Holocaust died at the camp. Others deported to Auschwitz included 115,000 non-Jewish Poles, 23,000 Roma, 15,000 Soviet prisoners of war, 400 Jehovah's Witnesses, tens of thousands of others of diverse nationalities, and an unknown number of gay men. Many of those not killed in the gas chambers died because of starvation, forced labor, infectious diseases, individual executions, and medical experiments. Okay, so obviously you're all asking yourselves, what the fuck did I just watch? Well, I'm going to tell you what I just watched. I just gave you a little recap of what Nazis really were. If anybody had any questions about what Nazis really were, there you have it. And that's just the tip of the icebergs of the things that they committed and how they came to power. The reason why I brought this up is because we're facing times in where it's happening all over again. We're seeing the very spirit of the Nazi regime come into play once again in the US as well as worldwide. We're seeing a lot of negative rhetoric flying around. There's a lot of anti-Semitism actually pushed forward by American congresswomen or members of Congress, and I think you all know who I'm talking about: Ilhan Omar and Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi actually backing them up. A lot of anti-Semitism, which is the equivalence of Nazism, because they were anti-Semitic. Let's not forget what I just mentioned. Plus, there's also the question of the executions that went in those gas chambers in Auschwitz. Like I said, around 150,000 Jews. Okay? Now, if any of you have ever studied history at any point in your sad little short lives, in your sad little misguided empty lives, you are going to find a lot of pictures taken documenting the inhumane scenery. You see shoes piled up to its millions almost, and you would think, wow, that's a lot of shoes, and hopefully they're just like male prisoners and they were all men. No, sorry to disappoint you, but it wasn't just men. They weren't just soldiers. They were regular people like you or me or anybody else. They weren't just men. They were men, women, and most of all children. And the worst part about the whole thing is that these children weren't just, like about your 10, 11, 9, 8 years old. No, they were actually toddlers, infants, and newborns. They had no compassion for life at all. They weren't prejudiced when it came to age. All they knew is that everything that wasn't a Nazi was a parasite. Funny if you think about it, how there's a certain type of person living in this country right now who seem to think that babies or fetuses are parasites and that they should exterminate them through abortion. I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm talking about. We're seeing this stuff every day on our social media, on the news. Well, not the news, because the leftist news is very biased, of course, like CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and maybe even some tiny little portion of Fox. Tiny little portion. But I haven't really seen anything except for that Quan guy from the Fox and Friends. I don't know why that asshole's on that group, to be honest with you. It beats the hell out of me. But I'm bringing this up because, just like the thumbnail shows, Miley Cyrus has now joined the ranks of Planned Parenthood, or as I like to call them, the medics of the Nazi regime, or the Fourth Reich. Because to me, Planned Parenthood, it's not about health care. Planned Parenthood wasn't created for a woman's health care. This was created by someone else. You want me to educate you on that too? Fine, I'll educate you on who it was that actually created Planned Parenthood and what their purpose for that was. This is actually on Google. You can go ahead and Google this, and this is directly from Planned Parenthood's website. It says, in 1961, Planned Parenthood was founded on the idea that women should have the information and care they need to live strong, healthy lives and fulfill their dreams. Today, Planned Parenthood affiliates operate more than 600 healthcare centers across the United States. And Planned Parenthood is the nation's leading provider and advocate of high-quality, affordable care for women, men, and young people. Planned Parenthood is also the nation's largest provider of sex education. How did we get where we are today? Yeah. They really try to paint it off as, we're so nice. We are nice people. We are so good people. My ass. Okay. Planned Parenthood, okay, was founded by Margaret Sanger Slee. She was an American birth control activist, sex educator, writer, a nurse. Sanger popularized the term birth control, opened the first birth control clinic in the United States, and established organizations that involved into the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. And now they actually turned this into some sort of like government federal thing. That already tells you enough. That's already the establishment right there. The truth of the thing is that Planned Parenthood was founded on racism, belief in protecting society against the unfit. Okay, and you can go ahead and look this up on the Washington Times. Okay, minorities crammed into impoverished areas in inner cities should not be having so many babies, and of course, these minorities, including most of America's immigrants, are inferior in the human race, as are the physically and mentally handicapped. We should require mandatory sterilization of those less desirable and promote easy access to abortion. And since sex should be a free-for-all, we must provide birth control and abortions to teenagers too. It's all the greater good and far a more intelligent, liberated, healthier population. Now, that's not a misquote. That's real. You look it up. It's right there. It turns out that when this was actually created, it turns out that this real xenophobic bitch, because that's what she was, and I'm glad the bitch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, the wicked witch. I'm serious. I'm glad she's fucking dead. Okay? I really am. Because when this Margaret Sanger Slee wrote this, it was during the whole African racism thing. It had nothing to do with the yeah, of course it included the Chinese immigrants and the Latino immigrants and Hispanic immigrants, but it was mostly directed towards the African community. Okay, just take note of that. I'm not making this shit up. I could make this shit up even if I tried. Okay, this is This is textbook horror movie, a script. This is like 100% horror movie script. This is terrifying. The purge of those deemed unfit to live in society here in the U.S. or unfit to live amongst white people back then. Back then, I'm not saying white people now are evil, on the contrary, but nothing's changed. Nothing's changed, and everybody's too stupid to see it. They think that Planned Parenthood is some sort of savior, and like, oh no, they're just doing what they can for society. Oh, God bless Planned Parenthood. No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not. When you advocate for Planned Parenthood, you might as well be putting children in ovens. You might as well be gassing them. Because there's no limitation to these people. There's no limitation to Planned Parenthood. They advocate even late-term birth, late-term abortion. Late-term abortion means that even after the child is born, after its trimester, guess what? You still have the option to kill it. Instead of doing the right thing and putting it up for adoption. But it's just going to be a weight on society, paying taxes and blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? Like, there's people out there who can't have kids, so, what's the problem? The taxes are paying for the abortions, and they're getting them done like they were handing out fucking candy. You think it's cheap? You think abortions are cheap? They're not cheap. Do the numbers, crunch the numbers. You'll see for yourself. It's actually more to pay for all these abortions than it is to support these unwanted children in foster homes. It actually costs more to abort a child than to actually keep one alive. So, when I saw this slut, Miley Cyrus, with that picture, her licking a cake that says abortion is healthcare, I was disgusted beyond belief. I thought to myself, wow, this skank couldn't have gone any lower. I was wrong. She went past that level, okay? Way past that level, okay? There's a lot of people that can actually reach that level, and they're called leftists and Democrats. But one of the things that sets me off is, I watch a lot of YouTubers. I watch a lot of YouTube videos involving Antifa and all these women's marches and all these other things. And they're constantly calling everybody else Nazis. But if you would like me to make a video putting side-by-side comparisons of the Nazi regime or the Third Reich to the Democrats and the leftist ideology or narrative or agenda, then please leave a comment below requesting that I do that. If not, I won't do it. But if you do, I'll probably be one of the few YouTubers with the balls to actually put this up there. Because there's a lot of people that haven't. A lot of people have not done this. And it's a shame, because we really do need to educate everybody on what real Nazis are. And put a side-by-side comparison of the 1940s to the 2000s. It's odd that the Nazi spirit hasn't died. It hasn't died, apparently. It's not gone. It's still very much alive, and it's now in the U.S., where they're exploiting the Constitution to fit their own narratives. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, things like that. They're exploiting the Constitution for their own gain, while keeping everybody else from doing the same. And by that I mean censorship and everything. Just watch. Someone's going to get offended or pissed off over this video, and they're going to want to flag it down, and they're going to want to report it, and YouTube is going to have to abide, because they care so much about people's feelings, that they're actually going to do it. And you know what? Here's the thing. I want them to do it. I want to take a picture. I want to put it on another YouTube video, and I'm going to show you how Nazi media and all other forms of it, like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and even YouTube, have actually become the dominant force for a Nazi narrative or agenda in the guise of democracy and tolerance and acceptance and diversity. There is no difference here other than the package now looks different than it was before. Before it was just black, red, and white with a swastika. Now it's rainbow colored and with a donkey on the thing and a whole bunch of, you know what, I'm not even gonna go there because I'm pretty sure all of you know what symbols they use. Unicorns and rainbow farts and all this other bullshit that they think they're so peaceful, but they're actually the most violent people on earth. They're the most inhumane, disgusting humans on the planet because they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Miley Cyrus is lower than low. She's lower than a flea. She's the amoeba that's on the tick that's sucking the blood off of a rat. Okay? She already stooped so low with that post that she's now just an amoeba. To me, she's just now just an amoeba. Before, she was just a fucking rat. And then she started making those videos and those weird... That's disgusting. You know, it's actually kind of hypocritical that she's all for abortion, considering the fact that one of the videos that she makes is her dressed up in baby clothing and with a baby bonnet and baby onesies that practically almost show her disgusting, nasty, radioactive crotch with a baby bottle in her mouth. Or maybe she's advocating pedophilia. Well, maybe. I mean, her body does look like that of a fucking 12-year-old girl. So, ooh, Liam. I'm starting to see a little pattern here, man. But anyways, it's disgusting. I feel proud when I went to that post and I was checking out the comments because I thought to myself, shit, yeah, she's gonna get like 100% fucking comments towards her favor. Like, yeah, you go, girl. Yeah, you tell them off. Yeah, you speak up. Speak up. Tell them. I saw a lot of those. But I was also very surprised to see a lot of women. I didn't see any men comments there, by the way. I saw a lot of women's comments actually calling her out. Okay? And one of them was actually a pro-choicer. One of them was a pro-choice advocate. But even she said that abortion is something that should be taken seriously. It's a life-changing situation, a life-changing choice that should not be celebrated. Even a pro-choice woman called her out on this because it's disgusting. But that was my opinion. If I'm putting all this Nazi stuff, it's because it's pretty much Latin Nazism. But, you know, let me know what you think. Leave a comment on the bottom. If you think that I should put a side-by-side comparison of the whole Nazi compared to the left thing, please let me know. Let me know what you think of Miley Cyrus in your own words, and don't be afraid of saying the things for what they are. This country's beautiful because we have the First Amendment right, and I hope we never lose our second, or else we'll lose our first. This was MAGA Gamer, out.